I'm in St. Joseph's Cemetery in Turner's Cross in Cork at the grave of a whiskey legend, Mr. Paddy Flaherty, Patrick O'Flaherty, for whom Paddy Irish Whiskey is named. And Paddy was famous, of course, for introducing thousands of Corkonians and people around Ireland to the joys of Irish whiskey. He was a salesman for the Cork Distilleries company, which eventually became Irish Distillers, of course. But back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, Paddy would have gone all over the country, travelling by train to buy whiskey for locals and drinkers in bars, introducing them to the Cork Distilleries company's whiskey. So popular was the whiskey that the bar owners would write letters to the distillery asking for cases of Paddy's whiskey. So when Paddy retired, Cork Distilleries Company, of course, asked him could they use his name in every bottle. And since the 1920s, we've had Paddy emblazoned across every bottle of Paddy Irish Whiskey, and I have a small little measure of it here. And what's interesting, particularly about this graveyard, is the cemetery, is that this was the first Catholic graveyards in Cork, and it was land purchased by Father Matthew, a priest. And Father Matthew was famous for the temperance movement. He railed against the abuse of alcohol and the consequences and the impact of alcohol addiction. And so he was very successful in weaning people off alcohol, to the point where he reduced excise duty on alcohol in terms of the take that the government made by about 50% at one time in the mid 1800s. Father Matthew died in 1856, having converted many people away from alcohol. And the great irony, of course, is that we're here in Father Matthew's graveyard. Paddy O'Flaherty, the great whiskey salesman, is buried here, and right over the wall here, Father Matthew is buried. So you have the king of temperance and the king of whiskey side by side in the graveyard. An irony that could only maybe happen in Cork. And so I'm delighted to see that, to see his grave, to know where he was buried. He's had such a profound influence on Irish whiskey, and it's nice that it's nice to know where his final resting place was. And so I think a little toast here now. Paddy Irish Whiskey to toast Paddy, late of Cork Distillers. I have a small little sip for Paddy. Cheers, Paddy.